Mark. Thank you for applying for the job at 3M for Strategy and Business Development Manager. We really appreciate it.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having me.
Oh yeah, thank you for coming in today. So one of the questions I would have for you is, right off the bat, what is your biggest strength and weakness, would you say?
Strength and weakness.
Yep.
I would say my biggest strength is the ability to make connections with people, with events, and be able to put those together and then make a plan out of that. So I can see certain, let's say if something happens,
Mhm.
okay? I'll give you an example. There was a storm that we had in my previous job where we had to sell products into that storm. And the logistics became very difficult in that process. And I was able to look at some of the problems that we were facing in that delivery,
Mhm.
and then come up with some solutions based on some other events that went right. And then I was able to help create a solution that was going to be a long-term solution for down the road.
Great.
So,
In this role, you would be identifying and working on special projects with different teams with varying experiences. What do you think is the best way to work with different teams that have different experiences, and how to attack that? If that makes sense.
I think the most important thing is to develop a culture of learning and make question asking okay. Nobody has all the answers. And so if a superior has people that are reporting to him or her that are willing to ask questions, then there's an engagement process that can happen. And so what I would do is put someone who's less experienced with more experienced people so that they can learn from each other and foster that sort of learning along the way. I think even somebody who's completely green has value to add to a group. And I think if you have a superior or a manager of some kind that has a lot of experience, you create that culture for them to listen to those junior people. I feel like everybody can gain. Now, obviously, we can't waste time, but there's no dumb thing. There's no dumb question, and that requires sort of a fostering of that culture, if you will.
Great.
So,
Have you managed a team of people before?
mhm.
And what is your leadership style, would you say? Or how do you like to lead a team?
I love to get in and get my feet dirty with the people that I'm leading. I feel like having the practical experience and knowledge and understanding and sharing that with the people I'm leading is important. Also to be able to speak firsthand into the problems that they're having. And so I don't just send people out, I go with them on occasion and then find out what's really happening and then try to work with them to create solutions so that it's better the next time. My leadership style is coach and then push them out there and let them kind of do their thing. And then I'll be alongside them if they need me, mostly trying to just clear obstacles for them if need be.
Perfect. And what about 3M drew you to this job?
3M's it's a Minnesota icon. First of all, it's well established. It's got an excellent culture. It's got an excellent history, and it's got a culture of listening to people with their ideas. For example, the Post-it note. You look at that and say, well, this was an accident, but somebody had a use for it, and they took that accident and made something out of it, and now there's a whole division for that specific product. And I really want to work for a company that honors ideas, that values ideas, and values people's individual input. That to me is very valuable, and I feel like I can contribute in an environment like that.
Perfect. And let's see, tell me about some of your experiences in strategy and business development.
Okay. So I used to manage all of the sales to Africa and South America. And it's difficult in each of those two different culture environments. I mean, every country in Africa is different, but there's a big difference between South America and Africa, and so trying to create different avenues for each of those was a challenge. But let's just take South America, for example. When I was traveling around Peru, I would take a look at the different needs from the customers. Logistics is very difficult there because of the roads. You can't get long trucks with long products on there, and that's what we were hauling at the time. And so to try and figure out ways that we could get those big long products to the customer way up in the mountains without causing damage or without some of the liability things that come along with it, we were able to create new products where you could cut those in half, reassemble them up at the job site. And so looking for new ways to approach the problem is kind of a strategic way to get our product over somebody else's who wouldn't think that way if they were just doing what they'd always done. So
Perfect.
that makes sense.
One of the qualifications of this job is to give presentations to senior leadership. Have you done that before, and are you comfortable with that?
I have. In fact, I've done it in Spanish before. I've given presentations to large groups of people in English and in Spanish. I'm pretty comfortable in front of a crowd, and I feel as long as I have the backing of the company, I can say what I need to say. So I feel very comfortable in front of them presenting.
Perfect. And last question, we are interviewing a lot of people. Why do you believe that you are the best fit for this role?
I believe I bring unique strengths to this role and a unique background. There's not many people who have as diverse a background as I do. And some people may think that having just a super narrow focus brings a lot of value, in which it does in some cases, but I feel like in a business development role, having seen different kinds of businesses, working with IT and working with sales and working with education and different things that I've done, I feel like each of those experiences creates a rounded, broad experience range that can provide a unique look on this industry. So I think that would make me a little bit uniquely qualified there.
Great. And that was the last question I had for you, so I really appreciate it,
All
Mark.
right, thanks.
Thank you for